Who is wise and understanding among you? Let him show by good conduct that his works are done in the meekness of wisdom. So look how it started talking about, well, previous chapter, faith without works is dead. And faith pretty much has to do with what you profess, what you confess with your mouth, as in we believe that Yahushua is our Savior. But if we don't act according to what he tells us in scriptures, then our faith is dead. So that's why in this chapter it was all about the tongue, because what we speak will be directly connected with that which we have in our heart, with our root, because a fig tree will not give grapes. So you shall know them by their fruits. And the fruit starts with that which comes out of the mouth and continues with that which you do after speaking. So not only actions, I mean, but also words, as in the name of the Son. And I said that mainly because of what we read in Hebrews 13:15, which says, "Therefore by him let us continually offer the sacrifice of praise to Yahweh, that is the fruit of our lips," fruit of our lips, confessing his name. So we must confess his name, and that is fruit of our lips. And if we confess his name, it's because we have him in our heart. Who is wise and understanding among you? Let him show by good conduct that his works are done in the meekness of wisdom. But if you have bitter envy and self-seeking in your hearts, but if you have bitter envy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast and lie against the truth. Very important. I repeat, if someone is actually understanding, then show by good conduct that his works are done in the meekness of wisdom, meaning that everything that he or she does is according to the wisdom Yahweh has given that person, is a wise action. But if you have bitter envy and selfish ambition, if everything that you are seeking is for your own pleasure and your own benefit, as in how it started, my brethren, let not many of you become teachers. But if you have bitter envy and self-seeking in your hearts, or selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast and lie against the truth by claiming to be something you're not, by teaching something you don't know, etc. Do not boast and lie against the truth. This wisdom does not descend from above, meaning the wisdom used by those who fool others, the wisdom used by those who teach falsehood. They are wise to fool, they are wise to deceive people. But that is not the true wisdom that comes from the Almighty Creator. It's actually an evil wisdom, which comes from demons and fallen angels, from darkness. But if you have bitter envy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast and lie against the truth. This wisdom does not descend from above, but is earthly, sensual, demonic. So it comes from demons. It's an earthly wisdom, and sensual because it is to try and satisfy the pleasures of the flesh. And I say try because the flesh won't be satisfied ever. And I mean satisfied through the passions of the flesh, through what the flesh asks for, will never satisfy it, even if it feels like it did. After a little bit of time, it will feel the same, just like hunger. You're hungry, you eat, you're satisfied, but then you're hungry again later in a while, in the same day. You're tired, you sleep, you're satisfied, you wake up, but then you're tired again. So everything that has to do with the flesh won't be fully satisfied by feeding it. So we must only feed the flesh that which the flesh needs in order to work for us, as in give enough food to be able to have energy, sleep in order to have your mind clear, etc. But you do it in order to continue searching the Father helping your brethren, your neighbor, etc. This wisdom does not descend from above, but is earthly, sensual, demonic. For where envy and selfish ambition exist, confusion and every evil thing are there. This is a very important verse also. We need to understand that if there is just a little bit of envy within us towards anybody, whatever, we must work on it to get rid of it. We must work on ourselves to get rid of envy. We shouldn't have envy. That is a sign that we don't have a belief in the Father. That is a sign that we don't understand what he wants to do with us, and we may not understand his plan or know his plan, but we should understand that it is good and it is better than whatever we think. So if we think that what that person has should be for me, then, which is pretty much envy, then it's because we're not trusting in the plan of Yahweh. Why did Yahweh give that to him? Because it is his will. That's it. Let's ask Yahweh for that which he has for us, and what can we do for him mainly. So we shouldn't have envy, because we are all, when it comes to the congregation, part of the same body, and each part of the body is important. Like we were seeing, the tongue is little, but it's super important, and it tends to lean to evil because it is connected to hell, as we were seeing. So we must be careful with the tongue. So my point is that even people who feel little, who feel not so important in the body, if they were to really understand their position and what the Almighty will do through them and with them, they would be completely happy, for they will know that by fulfilling that which they were made to do, it is only then when they will be complete, perfect, and feel perfect. Not through whatever Yahweh has for other person. That whatever it is, however it may look, won't fit your life, because that was not made for you, was made for them, whatever it may be. And also remember the 10th commandment, which is pretty much that which leads to envy. So, also, the first malach to fall from the favor of Yahweh, whose name is, well, there are many names for him, but one of those is Samael. That angel who fell, when he fell, he saw how one of his children, one of his angels, received some honor that he didn't have, and that angel received the authority that he had before he fell from the honor, from the favor of Yahweh. So Samael had envy of his child, of his son, and through that envy, death was created. So death comes from envy. That's why we must be careful regarding envy, because it pretty much can kill you, or will make you kill the person you envy. So Samael envied his child, and then he gave birth or engendered death. So with that understood, for where envy and selfish ambition exist, that is what Samael had, selfish ambition. He wanted to be seen as the only creator, as the only mighty one. He was shown that he wasn't even that mighty, and whatever might he had came from the true mighty one, Yahweh. So he failed because he was having a selfish ambition. And when he saw the judgment that Yahweh decided upon, which was to give his authority to one of his children, then he envied his child, and that gave birth to death. That is why where envy and selfish ambition exists, confusion and every evil thing are there. Confusion is connected to envy. You envy because you're confused about your part in the world. You're confused about the will of the Father for you. You're confused about who you are because you want to be somebody else. And that is a sad life to live. So confusion connected to envy, and every evil thing connected to selfish ambition. When you have a selfish ambition, when you only think about yourself, about what you can gain from anybody you encounter in life, instead of thinking about just having a friend, partner, a brother, sister, whom you may be able to help at some point, yet you only think about what you can get from them, how you can get a benefit, and that is the only thing in mind, then every evil thing will come from it. Every evil action, every evil thought, every evil word, just to gain that which you think you can attain from those connections. So envy connected to confusion, selfish ambition connected to every evil thing. And that's why Samael is the first malach to have fallen, from whom every evil thing comes, who represents evil in its most pure way, if I could use the word pure with evil. Should I say in the most impure way? So, for where envy and selfish ambition exists, confusion in every evil thing. That's why from Samael, who is the blind God, blind El, or the Elohim, or those who are blind, or also translated as the poison of Elohim. That is why from him comes the confusion of Babel. Babel means confusion, which is the place where Yahweh confused the languages in 70. So confusion comes from Samael. Samael was represented by Nimrod, who was the king of confusion, the king of Babel. So Samael represents evil in the clearest way. Hillel, his son who received certain power, represents evil disguised as good, which is actually more evil in the sense that is deceitful. As a pastor who claims to do things for the church, but is actually just taking advantage of the church, teaching lies, leading them to evil, for instance. So like a wolf in sheep clothing, that's a representation of Hillel, Lucifer, who appears as an angel of light, while Satan, Samael, the first Satan, is clearly evil, is who represents evil itself.